Ready?
Okay,
On the air, look at that.
I'll be there.
Will you please join us in saying Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, ball.
Peter, today is December 1st,
Yeah?
2016.
Oh, great. What's that mean?
I just started remembering to write 16.
You're so well in another 30 days, my son. Grab those down there and start signing away.
Okay.
Bills and payroll are coming around. I have a quick update from Chris Heap. He's been looking at the situation with the Wilson Lane bond. He can find no evidence of a bankruptcy filing by either the developer or the developer's company, so he's recommending that the board vote to call the bond and apply the funds towards completion of the outstanding work. If we do that, if you take that vote tonight, then I can send a letter to him tomorrow.
That's the one off of,
Crane or something.
Off of Bulkley, or off of Crane near Bulkley.
was that the 2, 3?
4 houses altogether, part of it's shared in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the developer told town council that he was not going to finish the work.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait, so we told him that.
yeah, yeah.
Where-
And it's 2 years, we already 2 years, had the bond for 2 years. He's told the town council that he's not going to finish the work.
All right, so before he declares bankruptcy, can we do 2 things? One, take the money, get a fair assessment of the cost to finish it, and then file suit against him for the difference.
Does he have any lots left, or are they all, they're all gone?
Lots are all gone.
But once again, can we?
Okay.
Do we have enough money to finish the road?
What was
I-
the attorney's recommendation?
That you,
Take the
yes,
bond.
vote to call the bond and apply the funds toward completion of the outstanding work.
The homeowners have basically got together and said, we'll make up the difference, is what I've been hearing along. And again, I can't attest to it, I haven't spoken.
They shouldn't have to, they should litigate.
Yeah, they should really.
Well, if the guy declared bankruptcy, no matter how you look at it. And what I'm worried about is that if he does declare it, where he said he was going to do it a couple of weeks ago, that $26,000 that
They
we're
come after-
holding,
they
the
come
state
after
can
it.
come after that. So I figured if we take it now,
Yep.
it becomes ours, then the state's going to have to fight harder to get it from us.
Right.
Now, we can turn around and assess that money to, again, finishing the road, driveway. And if the homeowners are willing to make up the difference, so be it, and let them sue him for the rest of the money. We stay out of it.
Right.
Well, we do,
That's the-
yeah, I agree.
So
with
do I have a
taking-
motion? And how is it worded?
I'll make a motion that we take the bond for
Completion.
Wilson Lane?
Wilson Lane.
And apply the funds toward completion of the outstanding work?
Yes.
Right. With the acknowledgement that, can I change it? Can I
Yeah,
add to
you
it?
keep going to it.
The acknowledgement that the remainder of the money is the responsibility of the
I
homeowners.
don't think we can really say
No,
that.
Well-
just take the bond.
Right.
I think we can just, all we can do is take the bond.
All right.
Now, we're gonna put it out to bid, because we can't give it to the highway department, right?
Well, I'm,
They've already received bids, from what I can tell, to how much it's going to cost them
right,
to finish it.
the homeowners, but the town's procurement process is completely different from what the homeowners can do. So given the $26,000, we have to go through whatever that level of procurement process is, and I'm going to lean hard on the highway department to see if we can't, somebody at the highway department can't
But you can't do it.
help
'cause you have to
assist
pay
us
prevailing wage, right?
through the procurement process.
Well, that's
The problem.
why we always say you have to figure that into the bond, not what,
They say it's going to cost.
yeah.
So remember this going forward, it really does happen, and every time somebody comes to us to ask for relief on their bond,
we need to be sure that we got
You gotta
enough money.
grease your cameras.
Look at
Yeah, that was that.
Right, yeah, when the bond amount came in, we didn't take the time to send it to Green for a review.
Plus, that was such a small little thing. It was really a shared driveway is what it was.
Right, but,
All right, so let's take the bond.
So have,
okay, so you got the motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
do we know? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Opposed? Okay.
All right.
Now, offer that portion of it. Well, that's enough of that, right? There's nothing else we can do about that, correct?
Thank you very much. I'll get the letter sent out tomorrow. FY 2018 budget. I gave you the format of the budget that I sent to Bonnie, and she combines all the budgets together and sends them off to the Finance Committee. I had a discussion with Peter today. He said the support of the 20 hours a week, he would like to see it, rather than an extra person, to be added hours for clerk that's already in.
Well, one individual to make up the rest of the time that's necessary. To hire another person at 20 hours, from what I can tell, puts another person into
Right, you want to use,
receiving benefits and such as that. So, why should we do that? Doesn't make sense for
rather
the town.
do it in-house.
I'd rather do it in-house and basically take what the hell's what I'm looking for, assess who's doing what in those offices and what exactly their roles are, and how many hours they are presently.
Okay, so you're telling,
Go back?
yeah, you're telling me to look at what the building department's doing, how they're running their department?
Well, because you say you help out the building department often. You go out and answer the front.
Right,
the
and
front
when
desk.
I'm gone, they cover for me.
Right, so if we have a new employee or someone's working more hours, I'd like to know how much of that falls exactly on our planning board assessment of what we pay. How much of that is assimilated to us?
Yeah.
So just,
And-
it's not that I'm not looking 15 minutes here and 10 minutes there and 8 minutes here, but if you go out and answer the front desk, 10 times a day, it's 10 minutes of a whack, no matter how you look at it, right? Then how do we get that made up for planning board time? That's why,
You really don't, so.
right, so,
And I'm looking at this for two reasons. One is to help with the cross coverage. The other one is to free me from some of the standard office tasks, so we can start doing some of these things that we always talk about. We have this housing production plan that we're having difficulty moving forward with.
Is there somebody in the office now that can pick up those extra hours rather than hiring somebody else?
Right, when we look, the new budget would start on July 1st, and at that point, we'd have to take a look and see how best to distribute that.
I agree with Peter. It makes more sense to try to have somebody who's already in the system rather than hire another employee.
Yeah, certainly.
Is there a 20-hour employee that's potentially available to do an extra 20 and work a 40-hour week?
It's a very good question.
your best guess scenario, there is someone available, more than likely? Or we,
I think it would be easy to get somebody in, and whether,
Well,
Well, let me put it this, way. Is there somebody that we need to add to augment our 20 hours and also somebody else's? If we're splitting them with somebody else, then that makes more sense. Yeah, or somebody who's doing minutes at night meetings and things like that, that would make more sense.
yeah, there's a pool of people that supposedly can help do night minutes. One new person just signed on to help with that, so if it's somebody that's doing some night meetings plus this, that would,
That's already in the system.
that would be great.
Jim?
Now, did I
Hang on a
say?
second, Richard, please.
Please.
Hang on a second.
If you put them to 19, then they're not eligible for benefits.
19 and under,
Well, yeah, under 20.
right.
So, I mean, if you're stuck, and, because the town does frown upon adding the benefits. Whether that means getting someone or not.
That's how I'm looking at it. We already have a 20-hour employee there.
You have a 19-hour.
We have a 19-hour employee. All right,
It's like red.
so, all right, well, I was under the impression we already had a benefits receiving employee in the house. All right, so then, All right, so then, once
Just saying
again,
it's an option
once
if it
Marin-
means getting someone or not.
right. Marin also made the statement that if you get somebody at 19 hours and you don't offer them any type of benefits, then the next year you're looking at somebody new to retrain all over again. I mean, you'd like to have somebody in there that's going to continue, staying with it,
If you offered somebody,
It's hell to train somebody, how to, all over it, every 6 months. Go ahead.
if you offered somebody, if you got them in and they were getting benefits, and that's like a carrot, because, who wants to leave when you get some benefits, saved up?
Pretty much what I just said.
Yeah, like retirement and stuff, yeah. Who wants it? It's exactly what you just said.
I'm not going to retire. Heart attack, dead, retirement.
But Maren, are you capable of doing the other 20 hours? Or that burn you out?
She can do that.
I'm paid for 40 hours now.
Yeah.
As a salaried employee, yeah, sure.
Well, look, some of us work
Okay, let's go on to the next
60
thing.
as a base,
Yelling at me.
just to begin.
All right, next. Please.
Thank you. Update on the master plan, just the announcement that the December 7th public forum is next Wednesday, starts 6 PM. Presentation starts at 6:30, and the discussion will run from 7 to 9. It's a Littleton Middle School.
There's food involved, right?
Absolutely. Dinner at 6.
I think we're late for dinner.
Affordable housing update. If you remember, we had the November 21st meeting. Judy Barrett was there and ran us through the visual preference survey and got input from a lot of people that were present. She'll provide a framework paper by December 29th in preparation for our January 5th Planning Board meeting. And the Housing Subcommittee of the Council on Aging would like to, is looking forward to that meeting as well.
So can we slot some time for that meeting, for them to be on the agenda to discuss what we learned? And also I feel like it was a good meeting, but I feel like the citizens and the council didn't get a chance to speak, so I think it would be excellent if they had a chance to do that.
Sounds good. I already talked with Pamela Campbell a couple times, and the COA is looking forward to meeting with you on the 5th.
Okay, terrific.
Yep. Okay. Bennett Orchard.
Good evening. Peter DeCarolis, Decker Corp. Here to talk about road bonding for Bennett Orchards. I've gone back and forth with Marin and Green International on the numbers. I think they're all established and in place. I think Marin will agree to that. When I build it, when I actually do bond, I'll want to phase it. I don't expect to put the whole roadway in bond for the entire roadway. I can show you the area I would like to phase. You guys are pretty familiar with this subdivision. So, coming in up here, and for this area. So this is the AT&T easement. I'm going to stop here. So it's going to make these lots available.
You want to post a bond for half the road. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm getting?
That's even less than half the road. The timing of when I'm actually going to post the funds, I can't tell you right now. It's weather dependent. We started construction on the roadway. It's been a mild fall, so we're doing well, but I wouldn't do it until I had a fairly significant amount of work done anyway. So if the weather holds out for the next 4 or 6 weeks, that would be the best case scenario, and then I would be ready to actually put the funds up. But I'm not banking on that, so it's weather determined at this point. But when I do get to that point, I'm either going to bring it up to binder pavement or processed gravel. If it's in the middle of the winter, it's going to be processed gravel. Obviously, I wouldn't be putting down binder pavement. And then post the funds for remaining work on that section of roadway.
And our assurances of this are, Mary?
Okay, Green has looked over the bond amounts for the entire subdivision. We haven't had the discussion yet about parsing off a piece of it. I would recommend we just ask Green for what that number would be, because Peter will have some more work done by that time. We'll be able to cross some of the top items off and then get from Green the final numbers. I think what Peter's looking for from you is just a approval of the overall amount.
All right, if the overall amount is, well, as far as I,
$1,600,000?
$1,600,000 is, plus, and you're looking at basically a little more than half. You won't be looking for any building permits on 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, anything up the right-hand side.
Well, I did want to talk to you about that, too.
All right, you want to address it all at once, or you want to try and go at the left-hand side first? What would you like?
Well, as far as the building permits, rumor has it that could issue a building permit or two without an occupancy permit until bonding was in place.
This is true.
That's what I would like to ask for.
Has this been,
What's that?
We haven't done it before.
We just did it on Durkey Farm.
those had frontage already, they already had, those two lots had frontage on
No.
that existing line, didn't they?
No, they didn't have frontage on Durkey that
You
you,
gave him building permits before he bonded.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But again,
for model
With no-
homes.
with no-
for model homes, is that what
No
you're looking at?
occupancy.
It doesn't matter what he does, as long as we don't give him a certificate of occupancy.
Right, exactly.
All right? Is
Everything.
that, okay, and where are these ones that you're considering these, that's 135, or that's 27?
Well, the first question is, do I have to pick now?
Pick what?
I
The
would think
lots.
it would make the paperwork
The two
easier.
lots?
Yeah.
Just because I don't have anything sold yet, but I'm meeting customers. So
I would
if
say-
I have to pick, it's going to be 8, 9, but if I have the option of,
Yeah.
at some point, it can be 2, it would be within that area which I'm going
It
to.
should.
Nine's not even
Eight,
close to
yeah.
where you're talking about doing the work.
Yeah,
It's,
8 and 9?
yeah.
8 and 9's right here and here, and you're doing
No,
the blue
those are
side.
street numbers you're looking at. Look on the footprint of the foundation, those are the lot
Tiny
numbers.
Yeah, sorry about that, there's a lot of
No.
numbers on there.
Okay.
It's a little tiny number.
This is your,
This one doesn't have the street numbers.
this is your project. I wouldn't
Where the hell's
tell you which lot
Right
you
here.
want to sell.
Here's 8, here's 9.
No, 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 but just when I spoke with Maude, she thought that if you're going to approve giving me 2 building permits without COs until bonding in place, I would need to
Right.
tell you which lots I'm going to ask for the,
I think
and
that
I'm not
makes sense
100%
for-
sure right now.
Yeah, once you decide which lots, you don't have to
Okay,
tell
all
us
right,
now.
that's excellent, yeah.
I mean,
Is your suggestion that we vote on whether or not he has to tell us now? Is that what you just said? I thought so. I
yeah,
heard.
no, whatever you guys want to do.
You weren't sure, Maude, about, yeah.
I don't think we really care.
Yeah, that's great.
It's your, yeah, you're the one that's at risk, and you're the one that needs
Yeah.
to sell these lots, so
Yeah.
let's give you the most flexibility we can.
Thank you.
All right, and again, no COs in any way, shape, or form.
That's fine,
They're a long ways from that, yeah.
I will,
yeah.
The other thing is, if you're gonna come in like in a month, 6 weeks' time to ask for a bond, can you make sure that everybody's seen it more than a day or two before you come to
yeah.
us, so that everything's,
Yeah, sure.
nice,
Yeah.
neat bow, all packaged?
Yeah,
And that Green and you are on the same page, and
yeah.
Jimmy are on the same page.
yeah.
And Jimmy's even looked at it.
do you have any issues with anything he's asking for here as far as,
No, I mean, I actually questioned the bond amount. He's already done like 3 things on there that could be already taken off the list.
okay. But we'll, again, once you, well, like you said, when you're ready to come back and you got everything in place, if, again, you've done something and Green says it's okay to remove it from the bond or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, it's in my interest
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do that. I'm going to be putting significant funds in the ground down there, so I will certainly be in touch with
We'd be
Green.
better off doing more.
For this, we could
using
almost
your own
have a-
money to do it.
Absolutely.
And then giving
yeah,
it to us to
yeah.
do it later.
Yeah, because all those bond numbers are on prevailing wage, way more money than it costs me to do it, and then you add in the contingency on it.
So what's left over, you're gonna donate to the fields of Littleton.
Yeah.
Not a Fred.
Fred, he needs it more. I don't know. All right.
I'll make a motion to vote on the bond amount pending final review from Green International. Also tie that motion with approving 2 lots with no COs for construction. No COs issued until the bond is.
And then,
I think the-
and then once those lots are, we offer a friendly amendment that once those lots are determined, that you let us know.
Yes.
All right, I've heard a motion. Any second motion, any seconds?
Maureen, no, we don't need to know.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
So be it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
What did Green say about the bonding amounts?
They reviewed it
Caught up.
as late as just yesterday and approved it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at
You
these
ready,
things
King
too.
Street?
Yeah. 4,500 for
That's
hydrants,
bingo.
3,000.
Watch the whole goddamn.
Installed with prevailing wages, so.
Yeah, catch basin, 3,000. If it's a manhole, 3,600.
So-
You know, we're like 4,500 in the city for manholes, about 3,500 for catch basins. So it's, out here, it's
All right,
good.
well, we're actually behind by 10 minutes or so.
They use the Mass DOT bid numbers on those.
Okay, then you can't go wrong with that.
We're now going to hear from 80 King Street.
Yeah, Mr. Strathmeyer's here to give you an update. Oh, and what do we do? Here they are. Thank you, if you would.
Oh, nice.
Good evening. As you remember, we are the music store, which has taken over the Willow Florist space. Here to report on some progress. Progress towards a site plan, and also for some, I hope, quick informal discussion about the site plan that we'll be diving into. Okay? So, just so everyone else in the room can see. That's the agenda, two quick points. With regard to our progress, you remember we had that very large commercial greenhouse in the back of the property that has straddled the subdivision line. The Webbers sold us some of their land, but not all of it. So I have some photographs here. Go ahead to the next thing. So that's the greenhouse as it looked on November 4th. And then the next slide is the greenhouse as it looked on November 23rd. So what delayed it from the summer was that the glazing compound that held the glass into the greenhouse, there's a lot of it in the commercial greenhouse, was found to contain asbestos. So the Webbers actually had to have the guys in the moon suits come and dismantle that superstructure of the greenhouse. So that's all down. All that's left is some basic footings to be removed, a couple bit of the steel superstructure, but that's pretty much accomplished. So that's the first major accomplishment. The next one, next slide there, the ZBA had given us a special permit for the signage. That signage is now installed, as you can see. The main freestanding sign is out by the road. There's also one that you can just barely see in that picture up on the side of the building. So that's all done. And we took special care, as you can see, that sign is lit. This photo was taken at twilight, and we took special care with the shrouding around the floodlights so that the light was directed only to the sign, doesn't spill off, pollute the sky or glare in motorist eyes or anything like that. So those two things are accomplished. So, on to the next thing. So we're ready to engage an engineer to complete a site plan. The concern from our side is that we are not a developer. We don't have the resources to have attorneys and engineers on retainer. To be very blunt about it, we don't have the resources to go through multiple iterations of a site plan. I mean, I've been sitting in enough of these meetings to know that the more complex developments come in and they show you a site plan and you have comments about it, and they go home and they redesign and they bring it back, and that happens a couple of iterations. I just can't do that. So what I'm asking is to get direction on a couple of very specific points that will allow me to communicate with my engineer and try to bring something back to you that has some hope of meeting your expectations the first time around, at least getting it close. The primary open issue there, I think, has to do with the upper parking area. This property has two parking areas. The one in front of the building, between the building and the road, and the lower parking area that's off, down to the side off the end of the building. And at one of the previous meetings where I appeared, I got some strong direction from the board that said, get rid of some of those parking spaces out in front of the building, okay? That is a burden on me, because we are dealing with a historic structure. We are dealing with limited space and where that structure is placed. It is both a residence.
Who deemed the structure historic? Is the
Well,
town?
I'm using that lowercase h, okay?
Because you established those 3 parking spaces out front after you purchased the structure.
That's true.
They weren't there before.
That is true. And that's
Before
part
that,
of,
before that, that space was pervious, and then you've since taken out the front lawn, more or less, and created the space.
yes, and I have some photographs to talk about the parking arrangement under the Weber's ownership, the parking arrangement under our ownership, and I'm also trying to get an estimate of the pervious area of the lot. Now that we have dismantled that huge greenhouse, that was a 2,000 square foot greenhouse, I believe that we are on that edge of the 15% hurdle. I won't know until we, come
With the
to some
2,000 square
decisions.
foot greenhouse, only a portion of it's on your land, the other portion is on.
Most of it was, but 2/3 to 3/4 was on my land. Also, my land extends behind the quarry's property, so there's 52,000 square feet in the whole lot. So, as I said, I did a...
The burden existed when you purchased the property, right? Because there was no spaces at that time. We didn't improve spaces and you created them.
Well, I'm about to show you the parking...
I'm not in favor of spaces being approved out front.
And I believe it was you who gave me the strongest pushback when I appeared before. Okay, I'm very much aware of that. My goal tonight is to describe and to show you in photographs what the Webbers were doing and what I would be requesting to do. And in sheer numbers, I don't believe it's all that different. Okay, so that's my goal tonight, okay? And
Well, for one, we're already started behindhand. You're looking for us to do some designing for you, so you don't have to pay an engineer to do the designing. It's not our job to do that for you. So if you're gonna, if you wish to make a very quick assessment of what you're interested in doing, have at it, okay?
Okay, that we will do.
I'm okay with listening, yeah.
Okay, so, okay, the next slide. This is the photograph of the parking as it was practiced by the Webbers. There are 7 parking places there, or at least 7 places where they and their customers used to station vehicles. 3 of them were family spaces, kind of haphazardly off to the left or in front of the garage. 1 business space where you see the delivery van, number 4. And speaking from personal experience, when I drove into that place for the year or so before title change, they were closing the business, customers parked very haphazardly where I've shown 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah,
Okay? So 7 spaces total.
that's right.
So, so next slide, please, Maren. So what, as you know, what I've done is I have taken some of the front yard and gotten the family spaces, or the resident spaces now, off of the main traffic flow. I've been required to have an ADA space in front of the store, so I have to put that in front of the store.
Why is that?
I'm going to have, for anything up to 20 spaces, I'm
Yeah.
required to have an accessible
Right.
ADA
You're
parking space.
going to have over 20 spaces?
I have to have, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
for all this.
Because of the retail space, as a matter of fact, 20 is even under, according to the formula, I would have to have more like 30,
Okay.
okay? So yes, so anything under 20, actually, even if it was 6, I would have to have an ADA space.
But what were you requesting from us? How many spaces?
I was suggesting 23, I believe it
Okay,
was.
so you're still over 20?
Well, it's under 20, you need 1.
Yeah, yeah.
So over 20,
No,
I'm
20
pushing 2.
Up to 20 is 0, over 20 is 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I was, okay. So anyhow, and then there was that, there was the greenhouse in front, which I called the display greenhouse in front of the building. Okay. That has been completely removed, demolished, and I have put 3 parking places there. Okay? So that's a total of 8 now, including the ADA space. And I figure I really, really need 7, maybe 6, okay? And I'll explain why in a moment, okay? When I mentioned the historic structure, I'm aware that the town is very much in favor of the mixed-use kind of thing, smaller business kind of formats.
That's right.
Preserving historic structures and all of that, okay? So I'm trying to work within that and to honor all of that and try to accomplish as much as I can.
Isn't that the house that Henry Dix Kimball lived in?
It is. That's why I consider it historic in a lowercase
historic.
page.
That's
I don't know if the
historic enough for
Historic
me.
Association has declared it anything,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
historic.
certainly of historical interest to the town.
That's historic.
Yes. So in order for a mixed-use development to be economically viable, I need tenants and I need customers, okay? And I'm going to show you a couple things about the constraints that I'm working under to make those tenants and customers happy.
Before we go into that,
Yeah.
this is a grandfathered, you're one of the 5 or 6 businesses in town that are grandfathered business in a residential. You have the pavement already there, it's been there for 30 years. It's a low-volume kind of use. He could put the parking in the front because of the house part of it. Why don't we just let him do the best he can with the pavement that he has there, rather than keep going through this? If you get 14 spaces, if you get 16 spaces, just use the pavement that's already there and just, let's be done with it. I mean, why are we're beating a dead horse. You're trying to make the best you can out of a grandfathered use, and let's just leave it at that. I don't know why we,
Yeah, I'm
Because what he's looking for is more spaces than what he has
Well, no,
available.
but I don't think he even needs what he's got.
Even the 7 that the Webbers had out front would probably solve my problem. The issue with the Webbers arrangement is traffic flow, okay? Yes, the pavement's there, yes, you can park on it, but getting your way through the way the Webbers parked in on that driveway, is practically
There's
impossible.
a housing unit there, he could park them there anyway as the housing. Let him take that lower parking lot, get as many as he can,
Well,
and
a portion of the parking lot isn't yours, though, correct? A portion of that parking lot?
Portion of the lower parking lot is not mine.
Right.
Okay, so I have been working under a written agreement, as is allowed under bylaws, to use in a butter's parking lot.
But at some point, there's a
At some
plan to
point,
remove
which I
that.
foresee to be several years down the road, when the Webbers finally decide what to do with that back land, they will, whatever they do, probably I will not have their permission to use that lot anymore.
probably have to
At that
buy.
point, as we discussed in the previous hearing, I do have the room behind the store building for store-related parking, which I consider fine.
Right.
Okay.
Employees.
Employee, teachers, that kind of thing, right? So,
Oh, yeah. Plenty of room behind that.
indeed,
Hang on
yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
Just to read his digest. Out back where the greenhouse is and is almost going away, you can add some form of parking back there. That's what this drawing here is for?
That's right. So at the point where the Weber family stops us from using the existing pavement, we are anticipating a design, maybe some,
That this is what you're looking to end up with,
that's right, yeah, like,
this one.
yes.
All right. That's what we're here for.
Which doesn't show those 3 tenant spaces up front.
And it doesn't show,
That engineer was not really addressing the front. The question was whether we could remove the lower
It's a
parking.
house out front, he could do it as a house structure. It's a small little thing, it's grandfathered, there's always been a business there, it has a parking lot there.
But he took and made 3 additional spaces
over here.
over
Yeah, for
here.
people, yeah, but
But what I'm saying is that he's going to do that, and then he's going to create this. He's going to exceed, he's going to
I
have a
don't
lot
think
coverage.
I don't think he wants to create that. Can you live with what you have right now? That's my point.
I can live with the quantity as the Webbers, the quantity of parking places as the Weber family used to use the space. Their traffic flow and where they put the cars on the pavement was horrible.
We're not talking,
So I don't want to...
What I'm trying to say is, can I see the picture for a second?
Sorry.
Can we stop right here? Right there. You got the pavement down there, and you have whatever you do.
And he got rid of the greenhouse out front, which created 3 more spaces
Right,
as well.
so just keep it right like that. You need to put any more in the back, or do you want to put more in the back?
I only have to put parking places in the back if
He took up the-
and when the Webbers stop me from using the parking lot that's there.
You can live with what's there.
I can live in terms of quantity of spaces with what's there, as I keep saying. The historical way the Webbers have used that asphalt, the
I'm
traffic
saying,
flow.
If you're using the existing pavement just like it is now and you're not adding to it, aside from a lot, one or two for the housing part of it, I don't have a problem with this. If you have to come back at a future date and redesign it, I think that's when.
Which I will, but that's not the near-term issue.
Let him, it's already there.
Yeah, I'm okay with all that.
We haven't had a problem with that. I still don't know what he's doing here.
He's asking if he can have as many parking spaces in the front as he can, and I think that's fine.
What I'm asking is, can I have the same number of parking spaces that the Webbers had,
Yeah.
but rearrange them so that the traffic flow is better?
If you can do that, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
Tell me this. Well, this is the last of it. We have quarter of it, we're all done here. Where is your property on this? Show me on this picture right here. What do you own?
That
the
outside.
curved line.
That there. So
Yes.
at some point in time, when they take back these little pieces over here, you're going to be able to get around back and create that that parking
Yes,
space.
that
Without
we all
question.
agree with.
You've got parking spaces here, you've made more parking spaces over there, correct?
Yes.
So you now have, 7 places out front? Is that what our numbers are here?
Yes.
And then at some point in
7
time,
or 8.
and again, later on, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you will be able to eradicate this pavement here and make new back there.
That's right.
As long as you stay underneath the 30% non-pervious, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
When you do this back here, I don't see a problem. Does anybody else?
Nope.
So we're good to go?
Yep.
We could have gotten this done a long time
I'll
ago.
make the motion.
Please do.
We approve the request to reutilize the parking space and the number of spots that the previous owner had out front
The existing pavement.
on the existing pavement.
That's not worded correctly, is it? Not even close.
I don't know if you're voting on a site plan application or his special permit
I
application
think
or
his
what.
special permit is his.
All I'm asking is informal discussion guidance.
No vote,
there's your
no,
guidance.
there's your
I
guidance.
would recommend
Use it
you-
as you have it now.
We don't have to vote on anything.
I would
Correct?
recommend that.
What you have is this board that's present right now, the acceptance of what you're doing right now. Don't go pushing over anywhere else. Get rid of the greenhouse out back and start planning on giving yourself, just using your land out back with the parking
Okay,
spot.
and do I,
No ands.
no, I'm simply asking for clarification. Existing asphalt out front, or may I, do you think, given that proper engineering, may I reconfigure the same number of parking places to improve the traffic flow?
I would say yes.
So now you're asking for additional impervious?
Is that what you're asking for, more impervious, or what are you asking to do?
That I'm not
Do
happy
you
with.
want to pave the 3 spaces that you have out front that you've created in the gravel?
I'm very happy to leave them gravel if the board is happy
You
with.
really can't, if it's more than 7 spaces, he has to pave it.
Well, and then, but then if he's doing the paving out there, we're back in the Water Resource District special permit.
But in any case, I will be well under the 30%.
Yeah.
But anything
Size
over
of
the
my lot.
15, you need the special permit.
I mean, we're talking 2 or 3 parking spaces out of a 52,000 square foot
If he
lot.
paves those right now, does that throw him over the threshold right now?
His engineer would have to tell us.
You're gonna have to come back with an engineer and let us know if you pave those spaces out front, if that puts you over the impervious area permitted.
Too
Okay?
complicated.
If you need the exact number. Is that's what you should have stopped, told you.
15% or the 30%?
The threshold for a special permit, the 15%.
It triggers the paperwork, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was anticipating perhaps needing a special permit in now,
Okay.
given the size of the building.
Now, will you ever have 24 customers in that building at one time?
Given that we teach private lessons, we may have 24, well, including tenants, we may have 24 vehicles on the premises.
That's not what he asked. We don't care about the tenants.
Yeah.
Should learn to say no.
Less is more.
Okay, I'm good, we're going to stop right there.
I think we're
Stop
good.
right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There was a photo that needs to go back in the file.
He has it.
Did you end up with the photo?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Where are we now besides behind?
You do a great presentation, by the way. I think that's one of the best.
I tried to make things clear, which...
Geez, Richard, I was agreeing with you all along.
You're doing a great job over there, by the way.
Turkey Farm Estates subdivision. This Is that somebody?
No, I think you're welcome.
Pass them already?
No, we did Durkee.
Okay, no, we haven't done Turkey yet. The one thing I need you to do is vote to accept the inspection reports for site visit number 8 and 9, number 10, 11, and 12, and number 13.
Oh, I looked at them.
We jumped over those last.
I looked at them today. They're great. Yeah.
All right, so make a motion, Rich.
I'm going to make a motion to approve site visit. Site visit reports for site visit 8 and 9, and, let's see,
10, 11, 12, and 13.
10, 11, 12, and 13.
Is that, the dash is inclusive of 11,
Perfect.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right?
I have a motion.
That's my motion to approve them.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did I miss something?
No, you're good. I was eating, sorry.
All right, thank you. On the guardrail, Dave Guthrie is working on a solution with his engineer and Green International, and as soon as he has information available, he'll bring that to us, so we can skip over B.
One question quick. Have you looked at this guardrail and what do you think whether or not it will stop a car from going ass over tea kettle?
I don't think you can say
Do you
that.
have any thoughts about that?
They installed everything except the so-called bridge. They're just looking for more information from the engineers, because they're mounting it to the retaining wall. And if a car hits it, is the retaining wall going to tip off?
Put it?
Is what they're questioning.
All right, they had that problem like Fresh Pond. Okay.
They have the metal plate behind the wood?
It's not wood, it's metal. They use regular guardrail.
Wait, I'm
And as soon
thinking of
as they-
someplace else. then.
Yeah, as soon as
They
they have.
discussed using the wood, and between the cost and getting the certification, it was just easier to go with the metal.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, then Wellington Drive is the next.
Where is that? Oh, we're behind. Where's Wellington Drive?
Good evening. My name's Ian Rubin. I'm with Mark Ian Rubin. We're here on the horse farm, Wellington Drive, and there are two items to discuss, I believe, still on this on this subdivision. And those are the waiver for bituminous berm as opposed to granite curbing, and the sidewalk issue, the walking path. There was some concern about putting a paved path there, but with that, it just becomes too much of an issue considering the ADA regulations and so on. And what we are proposing here is a walking path as I show on this plan. And this, I think, from where, what the idea was to put a parking space for two vehicles at the entrance here. And what I've done here is I've put the path on this side. It doesn't interfere then with the trees on that side. There'll be a crossover right here, and then it can go all the way down to the Cooper property.
And does that connect with the, yeah, from the drawing I saw on the Cooper property, it looks like it's in the same vicinity as
Right.
Cooper's.
Yeah, I mean, where theirs is still up in the air at this point, so we don't have an exact location for that. But if you're happy with this, I can include this as a plan for the definitive plans.
Where are the parking spaces up front?
Right up there. I mean, if you look closely, you can see that's enough for two parking spaces right
Get a
there.
squint.
Are they parking in this way? Is that?
Yeah, Mini Coopers.
You know, like
Okay,
that.
okay, good.
And actually, there's no trees disturbed here. That is open. The proposed trees on the outside of the property line in this
Good.
space here. So it's the most convenient place to put.
All right, I would like to see a sign that says parking where those spots are, so that people know that that's for parking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what is the reason you don't want to pave that walk?
Oh,
Good God.
you can't pay that.
Because it's, then we,
Wetlands anyway.
No, it's not.
well, we actually,
You can't pay
there's a slight problem here with conservation because the agreement was to remove the culvert there. And now we're putting this across here, it's gonna have to go back to conservation.
Yeah. The, and dense graded, you'll make that out of dense graded then, correct?
Stone dust, yeah.
Yeah, stone dust, something that is very compactable.
Yeah, compacted with, I mean, the idea would be 6 inches of gravel underneath with 2
Yeah.
inches of stone dust on top, that would be compacted.
Okay,
And it's 5 foot wide for the entire length.
perfect, okay, I'm good.
Okay, and then the feedback we had gotten from Amy Green, Conservation, was that stone dust would not be appropriate in the very wet areas, and she had showed us the wood chip material that might be appropriate there. So
That's
you'll
fine,
have,
there really, it's Steve Marsh for Wellington Drive, there really aren't, there's an existing path through there already, so, but we're not opposed to it, so if you want to put that in for any wet areas, we'll do that.
just a surface acceptable to the Conservation Commission? Is that,
Well, the
How
thing
do
is
you
that
wanna-
it needs to be firm enough.
This isn't, this isn't
driving a bicycle
conservation
across.
land.
And it has to be erosion proof, so I'd rather stick with the grader base through the.
Yeah, they can use a dense graded.
right, it
material.
uses the same base, my understanding was it used the same base material, it was just
Unless the topping was the,
it was the top material that.
but as far as
So
I'm
it-
saying
so it would
graded
not-
base, we're not interested in having
Oh, she's
recycled
worried about the stone dust washing away. They can use dense graded then. That's almost the same thing.
asphalt in the graded base.
No, dense graded.
No, I'm not saying using that. No, I'm not saying to use recycled asphalt in the wetland areas, no.
The
Dense-
road's already cut in, I'm going to
Yeah.
make a note of that.
Of what, that I'm saying no to using it, or just,
Just kidding.
So
keep it up, Fuzzball, you're next.
So a dense graded material,
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll use a great base.
yeah.
Notes.
Non-hazardous.
There's probably asbestos down there, Steve.
We'll try to.
Once you go to the greenhouse in Weber's, they might be looking to get rid of some stuff.
Let's see, so you're going to use 6 inches of stone,
6 inches of gravel,
Yeah, 6 inches of gravel and then
2 inch of
It says 8 inches
crusher
over
on
here.
or
crusher run gravel.
and,
6 and 2 is
Crusher.
just an ADA compliance thing. That's not-
okay. And that gravel will be like a coarse gravel rather than a,
coarse gravel,
Where did,
compacted.
okay, good, I'm okay.
all right, and you'll be able to do this 1.5% longitudinal slope, or 5% to reflect construction tolerances on the slope up
Oh, you're
there.
talking about the rest of the sidewalks?
Oh, that's the other one. I skipped a page, never mind. Take that back.
No, are we off the pathway and on the rest of the?
Right, the only other issue is are we putting in bituminous berm or are we putting in granite curb?
Oh, boy.
There was a request for the waiver for bituminous berm.
I've already made my opinion on
Okay
this.
with the tunes, but-
I am not. Granted.
I'd rather see the granite, myself.
Swing vote.
Don't ask me.
You're right.
We've granted waiver before, it's a small little subdivision. It's not gonna
It's a
get a lot of
private road.
traffic and everything else like that, it's private
Private
property.
road.
We've granted waiver from granite plenty of times. I don't have a problem if it's bituminous. I'd rather it was gold, but I'll settle for bituminous.
The,
All right, well, let's play the second game then. If we're gonna grant them Cape Cod bituminous, Cape Cod berm or whatever, the area that is in the residential area, those sidewalks should be paved or concrete, not just the gravel the whole way.
So
Correct?
you're saying along the road?
The area
Up
from
until
where
the
the parking
crosswalk?
space to
Up
the
to the
crosswalk, and once you cross the crosswalk. And then back into the backwoods, and those
Okay.
areas should either be concrete under our bylaws, or that should be
I
paved.
think we can agree to that. If we can fit, will that fit?
I don't like, right now, it doesn't look like, I want granite, so that's as simple as it
Yeah,
gets.
sure, we get that.
All right?
So what is the decision here? I don't understand.
I'm asking the board if they-
What he's
No, I know,
suggesting
so
is from
pave-
here,
yeah.
pave from here to here.
Including the parking?
No.
No.
The sidewalk.
We'll
Just the
make the sidewalk,
He wants a real
Reach.
sidewalks.
Yeah, he wants a
Reach.
real sidewalk right from here to here.
Okay.
I think we
Make
should
the
pave-
sidewalk
we should
reach
probably pave that
Goldsmith.
too. I mean, it's gonna look stupid with dirt.
yeah.
So we'll pave that to there, right, including the parking. This will just remain as the path.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yep, we'll do that.
All right, where's this culvert you're speaking of, and how much area is that? That you said you were asked to be removed. What are the chances that, well, instead of, can you build a bridge over it like they do in many other places? Just drive piles down and build a bridge, or is that a bad
Over
idea?
troubled waters?
The Conservation Commission wanted this eliminated, and it was only one member who's no longer on that commission.
Okay,
So,
Who's that?
I forget, Mr. Mann, I
yeah,
believe,
okay.
is no longer on the commission. He was really kind of hell-bent on eliminating that. And then there was some discussion about the Boy Scouts taking this as a project for a bridge. So it really makes no difference to us. The water that goes through there is minimal.
Yeah,
The stream's probably that wide.
culvert, much.
It's going to be 100 feet away from wetlands, right? So you're going to have a 200-foot bridge?
Yeah, it'll be 200
Yeah,
feet.
it's,
You'll supply all the material for the Boy Scouts to build the bridge if that comes to that?
I got one more question about
Oh,
that.
well, I'll get to you in a
One more question about
second.
the drawing.
One moment, though. Should this become a Boy Scout project, will you supply
Let's just
them?
make it part of the whole thing, because I don't want any Sunday surprises later.
No.
So do you want a bridge there? If you do, let me know.
The gentleman behind you, how would you like that? Would you like a bridge, or would you prefer to have the culvert replaced and stayed in there?
We have to figure out
You can either leave the
Who are you?
culvert, Rick, I'm sorry, Rick Finley, Conservation Trust, Beaverbrook Road. Michael was telling me that he was looking at a place where they just laid a concrete slab across it. So I'm thinking of bicyclists, for example, that might be a perfect solution. They might need some
You better off leaving the
block or
culvert.
something.
Head wall,
Better off leaving the culvert.
Little head
than
wall on
putting
each
top
side.
of it.
Yeah, we
So
don't
what do you
take-
want? Just tell me what you want, we'll, tell me what you want.
You said roughly 18 inch.
Gold curve,
The stream is roughly 18 inches
about
wide.
18 inches, yeah.
In the high water season,
This
it's about,
culvert's in, there's pipes in it, but they don't really function that well.
so could you put an 18-inch pipe in there?
I think we should have the engineer look at it and determine what's appropriate, and we will do that. We will take all the smaller culverts and put in one culvert pipe that's appropriate.
yeah. The,
Terrific.
going with the bigger pipe, you might not be able to, unless you have the depth.
Yeah, that's an engineering issue. I think we can resolve that, though, and make sure that we've got it
How
all.
about if you want to check out with an engineer?
A few smaller
Have him
parts,
check.
sir.
Yeah, whatever. And
So I'll make a motion that we approve the subdivision with sidewalk,
could we,
paving.
I'm sorry, Ed, just one other thing. The width of this path at 5 feet is probably not good for crossing bicycles. Can we get to,
It's going to be a one-way.
Yeah, 5 feet's asking a lot.
all right, Rick, what is it?
well, as opposed to,
There's a whole 20-foot road for a bicycle.
well, I'm talking about the one that's making the connection, obviously, up to one.
Well, that's
Two one
dirt, that's a
The
stone
path.
Dirt,
dust.
that's
Yeah.
dirt, but you mentioned it was 5 feet.
Yeah,
It's 5 feet.
Now,
Yeah.
I'd much prefer that to be 6 or 8, if that's possible.
Jesus,
If you
man,
only
George.
if you're trading off the granite curb, that really isn't gonna be done.
We're getting a
We have a
sidewalk and a
seat that's
culvert.
empty for a little while, we'd like to come up here and see how you can make up
All
with
right,
this.
look,
Don't have room for anything more.
Yeah, I think, that- yeah, and then we'd have to contend with conservation. I mean, we...
5 feet's more
Well, I
than
can't, I'm not going to give you that one right up there. Conservation is going to get, will give up a foot, or they're not going to argue with over that in the areas that you're doing it. He wants 6, you want, you don't want...
Tell me what you want, and then that's what we'll do.
I'd like to see if it's something about 2 feet wide and let them have jousting things as they go by each other, as far as I would like to see.
I'd like 6 feet. Yeah.
Okay, so 6 feet from the
How do you
end of the
feel?
cul-de-sac
I don't
back.
care,
Yeah.
5, 6, doesn't
Fine,
matter.
we'll do that. 6 feet wide after the cul-de-sac up to the Cooper piece. It's already 20 feet wide anyway. So, you know what I mean, where the road is?
All right, well, he's made it,
Yeah, we're good.
This pathway right here
Yes.
there's a reason for this.
cannot be more than 5 feet.
It can't be wide.
No, because we just
Oh.
don't have enough room. I mean, we got a retaining wall here.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and
So for a portion of it, it can't be.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, okay, what do you tell me, 100 feet off of the pavement, you got to be at 5 feet?
Yeah.
So they'll be slowing down, putting their, so that area right there, you can only do 5 feet. But once you pass that, you can widen out to 6 feet. Is that what you're telling me?
well, up here we can do 6. I
Yes.
mean, here, there's again, it's going to be a little tight. But, I mean, you can make it 6 there without a problem. This whole section here could be 6 feet, no problem. But in this area here,
Once again, so within 100 feet of the cul-de-sac, of the turnaround, give or take, you can go, right, you can go back up.
let's say, from up to the, along the side of lot 5, to the start of this, it should be 5 feet. The rest of it can be more. There's really not enough room here to do more than,
I'm okay with that.
We'll make that 6 feet after that.
yeah, 6 feet off.
Hey, excuse me, could you either go out in the hallway or,
Go home.
all right, so, bang the gavel, huh? Nice.
And the gavel.
Now, you agreed with that? You're good with that? Richie's good with it?
Good with that.
Mr. Finley, you're happy enough with that, correct?
Yes.
I'm good, Monty Hall, I'm fine.
Let's make a deal. All right, here we go. The motion has been made.
To approve the subdivision, waiving the granite curb, providing a walking path, 5 feet in one portion, 6 feet in the remaining portion. The roadside sidewalk will be paved, and the 2 parking spaces will be paved.
And maintained when you plow.
By the association.
There you go.
By the association.
So be it. All those in favor?
Maybe get a second.
Aye.
Oh, second?
Second.
Who has, we need a motion.
I just made
You just made the
We need
motion.
a second.
I'll second that
All
motion.
right. Third?
No.
All those in favor?
I'm gonna vote on it. Aye.
Let's go.
Right
Next.
on time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm not sure about any of this.
Go to 6.
Like 2 more years.
Steve, you did pretty well there.
Sustainability.
I really,
Representing here too. Thank you very much.
Okay.
No, you can't sit at the
All
table.
right.
what is this? Everyone's coming to dinner?
I thought you wanted us.
How is everybody tonight?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
That's hunting bed.
Looks like my sister Betsy.
It's 4 on 4, so it's
Yep.
kind of even in the score here.
Do you have a new sign going up out
Nothing
there?
in Littleton.
Is there a new sign? Did I see a new sign there?
See the website?
There's a website, too.
You signed where?
Check that out.
Farm.com.
Connie Cooper?
What is it?
Farm.com.
Okay, who's up and where are we at? Do we have any readings to be read?
No,
Do we
this
need
is,
to open anything?
Preliminary.
nope, this is the continued discussion of the preliminary subdivision.
Okay. At the start of the meeting, do I have to tell everybody that I'm related to Mr. Field through marriage? Anybody has any problems with his wife is my sister? Anybody?
You're a lucky man.
Yeah, I just have a problem with it, I guess.
Okay. You want me to
Say that.
you want me to sit down?
Nah,
Want to
it's
recuse?
probably okay.
Okay.
Can I object later?
Yes. Are we good to go? All right, the floor is yours. Have at it.
Good evening. Jennifer Platt here on behalf of M&M Realty Trust with Jonathan Markey and Rubin. We were here last month, and we presented a preliminary open space subdivision plan for the Cooper Farm. At that meeting, we had some input from the board. There were 4 things in particular that you asked us to go back and address, and we have. We've presented a new set of plans, and I just want to run through real quickly what we had as the open items. The first was showing the sidewalks and the walking trails along the perimeter of the property, so you'll see those along the edge. Second was providing access to the big open space lot in the back, to Lot D, and you can see now that the walking trails take you into Lot D, as well as there's an access easement, a drainage easement going between the 2 detention ponds over on the 55 and plus parcel. Next thing you had asked for us to do is to designate the use of the open space, so we've indicated what each property is supposed to be, or lot is supposed to be used for. So we have active recreation on A, we have agricultural on the remaining open space lots. And then lastly, in our preliminary plan, there had been a drop in the square footage of open space due to the location of the retention ponds servicing the 55 and plus. We've relocated those, pushed those back, so we could get the open space back up even higher than it was originally. So I think now we're looking at over almost 23 acres, 54% of the property being open space.
Great. Richie, you have any questions?
Yeah. The pathway will need signage, all right, to identify that. And there needs to be some sort of parking for, now you have sidewalks all the way out to Great Road, so I presume you're going to have parking, some sort of parking or pull-off out there by Great Road, a curb cut with some sort of
Well, eventually,
parking.
I would think, Richie, if I might just add to what you're saying, is that the active recreation, at some point, will be fields where they'll have to provide parking at the fields, or
Yeah.
the town will provide parking, and those people could also use the sidewalks to then access the path.
Exactly, that's what my thoughts were. And so that would mean that you'd have to have some kind of curb cuts into these open spaces.
Those, all right, anything else?
But Finley here, no, he's gone.
Anything else, Rich?
No, that's it. I think the plan looks really great.
Mark? Any questions?
No, nothing right now.
Nothing? Nothing?
Nothing right now, we're still in preliminary.
Okay.
So far, so
The open
good.
space that's on the plan, if I may,
Yes, so you were next.
that's being given to the town as open space, correct? For
That's
us?
correct.
So, but it's not designated to any department at this time, or any entity, right? It's to the town.
To the town municipality.
Okay. That's my only question.
That one was, has on it, and one of them, it showed that to be active recreation, correct?
Yeah, the second page.
Correct.
says
All right.
recreation.
Open space A.
Parcel, well, you have open space up here, and parcel A is showing what I assume is your septic design? Under, right where it says parcel A?
Correct, and I'm sorry, that might be a bit confusing. The open space above it is called Area A, so we have Area A and Parcel A. So that's
And the town is receiving,
Area A.
parcel A is not,
Not the septic.
Not the septic.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Great.
The town's getting all the open.
Getting all the open
Not the
space,
septic.
but not
Not
the
the septic.
septic field.
We designated that as a separate parcel because it's going to be owned and operated, maintained by the homeowners association. It's just easier to have the deed language, to have the septic system all on one piece.
all right?
Mhm.
You've increased the area for open space by, what, 5,000 feet or 10,000 or something like that?
It's closer to 40, 50.
There's a 5 in there somewhere. 953 to 993, so 40. Correct?
Yes.
Richie's was asking about curb cuts and stuff, and I know that the house that's separated, you've got something already predetermined for that, correct? That's,
It's not been determined by
In terms of the
By the town,
use
yeah.
or
It's
the,
used.
town yet.
nothing, so there is still no,
It could go to,
Park and Rec.
it could go to a number of things. Senior
Okay.
center, park and rec,
So it'll be,
all right, it has-
affordable housing.
Habitat for Humanity.
So,
it'll be unrestricted.
once we get to definitive, by the time we're done, we'll know where everything, hopefully we'll know where everything's going.
Well, on what?
On like, who's
Where the
getting,
house was gonna get it?
who's gonna get the parcel?
It's going to the
Does the
town.
selectmen determine that, or?
It'll go
I think it's
unrestricted to the town, and then it's like.
Yeah,
Well, the
we'll,
planning board can decide.
Someone else decides.
Yeah, that's
We
not
can
us.
decide.
yeah, no, we can decide, that's my point. Yeah,
Well, if we wanted to
part of it's
decide,
going to park,
Do we-
definitely.
do we want to decide that
Coopers
though
want
at
to
this time?
decide.
Coopers want input to it.
Excellent, we'd love to hear from them. So, that'd be great.
Or
So,
would not be cast in stone what the Coopers ask.
right, no, but we'd like to have their input. I mean, certainly, I think it would be a sign of appreciation and respect from us.
We're happy to reach out to them, get that, whatever
Our
communication
original
there.
deal, Sherry, was with the Park and Rec or
Habitat for Humanity,
Habitat or
Yeah.
Affordable, right? Yeah.
yes.
So those three entities.
Those are three what
Those are
they've,
the three choices the Coopers want.
Or a senior center.
Or a senior
Senior
center.
Center, yeah.
Yeah, I think those were four.
Okay, here's a question for you. That front open, well, I don't know, that front open space, that is agricultural? Is that what we're going to leave that as?
Yes. So there's two up front with the roadway going in between it.
It says agricultural. We can't designate things as, to a specific use at this time. We shouldn't.
Jamie said.
I mean, we can't.
We shouldn't.
Well, this is, as he said, this is,
Things,
Preliminary.
yeah, things change and, 20, 30 years from now,
all right, so
40
for the
years from
most
now.
part, is everyone happy with what they professed to us so far?
Yes,
I am, yeah, the drawing looks good,
keep going.
You're all set? You're all set, Richie?
yeah. So long as the open space is gonna remain
Let's assume
unrestricted.
that, I'm sorry, you all done?
The open space.
I was in the middle of
Oh,
finishing being all
I'm
done.
sorry, finish up and get all done. Go.
So long as the open space, I'm okay, so long as the open space remains unrestricted.
We do have an agreement through the Board of Selectmen and the host community agreement, which has identified the uses of the open space. It's all open, but it has been earmarked as active recreation for this first parcel, the Area A, and then for agricultural on the other two parcels up front, and then more general open space in the back.
Well,
With no buildings on it.
yeah, I don't want to see that deeded as those uses, deeded to those uses. I'd rather see it deeded as unrestricted open space.
We can't
I
change that.
don't know that we actually have the power to change that with the host community agreement that we've already entered into with the town.
Okay, then we're out of it.
No, I don't think we are, actually. I think we should be involved in it because we're the ones that are doing the open space plan. We're the ones that are deciding what goes on with the open space. The selectmen shouldn't have made the decision. We should have made this. I think we should still be able to decide the ultimate disposition
But
of
we
the
can-
property.
then we
Not
can-
that I disagree with where it's going.
Yeah.
I just think that we should vote it, when we're all done with this, we should vote in where it goes.
I don't think it's wise, generally, and it's not, to purpose a use for a piece of land that's going to be there for 1,000 years.
I'm not saying we don't give it to the town. I'm just saying that we should
Yeah.
vote it, we should decide where it goes ultimately.
Should have been consulted on the
When we
negotiations.
finish this, that's my point. I agree with
Yeah.
Peter.
All right, but
Since we're the one that's permitting it,
So at that time, and that'll allow us to also
Yeah.
have a discussion with the selectmen
Exactly.
before.
Well,
plenty of time to get
That's
it.
not our
Let's,
problem.
No, it's
Right, it's not your problem.
It's not your-
yours, it's
No,
ours.
what we can do is ask Mary to check with council to see how we can address, I know, I have a concern.
Yeah, I understand your concern, it's just that what method do we use, 50 years in the future to change the type of use?
Yeah, we can't have
Unrestricted
this thing
open
be
space.
purposed
Just unrestricted
forever.
open space.
It's got to be,
Yeah,
there's got to be a way of managing that purpose.
Okay,
Yeah,
Rich,
from
one
the
second, please.
applicant standpoint, I mean, we're fine if the town and the board would like to revise that, we're trying to build to suit for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
goals,
Yeah.
so.
So Maren will check with
But
council
we
and see how
can't
we can do
deviate
that.
from our deal with the Coopers.
Yeah, so,
Which is,
Our original
It's-
deal is with the Coopers, correct?
That's correct. So we would have to get their sign off on that as well if there was a change.
and
All right, so now here's
what
what-
did the Coopers want?
The Coopers want just what we negotiated with the
Which
open space.
lines up with the host community agreement,
Correct.
which is that open space is agricultural.
Correct.
Correct.
And they want the house to go to one of those four
Okay.
entities.
And we have the active recreation.
That's how we structured the deal, and that's why we
Okay,
Yeah.
agreed together.
it's,
all right, well, once again, like you said, it's not your problem that we want something different, and it's not our problem that you have made an agreement with Coopers for that area. I'm not disagreeing with what we got. I'm relatively happy with the open space. With this up here, I can see all the areas are saying, I don't want to say this is getting used for nothing, you can only plant peas here, and that's all you can plant from here to eternity. I would like to see, open recreation unrestricted, so that's what I would have liked to have seen. Whether or not it's capable of happening, I don't know. But I don't want to be pigeonholed into this lots up front with nothing else being able to be done with it. I like the view driving by, it hides the houses, all that's great, because it still gives you the illusion of open fields.
We don't want to have stores up there, a building, a fire
No, we don't.
department, or a library,
We don't
or
either.
anything else on it.
I understand. You got a house that's up here, right? So that, and how big is that lot right there, where the house sits?
Jonathan, quarter acre.
Yeah.
Right, see, what I was thinking is, what we had said about, as far as recreation is concerned, if that building turned into something for Park and Rec, that they were separate in their own little place right there. There's some parking associated with that on there. Now you got the people coming who want to go to both the Park and Rec there. They're going to use that field at some point in time, the open field, parcel A, is that what you called it?
Area A.
Area A. So there's some parking to be done over here, leaves that more open, gives you curb cuts for there and people to park in order to get on, down the sidewalk and onto into this back lane to connect everywhere else. That's the only thing, I just don't want to hamstring us when it comes to that. So, and one of those things would be a sociable, or not the correct word, with Cooper's wishes, correct? Park and Rec. What's the other one you said?
And assisted living.
Assisted Habitat for Humanity. So again,
Senior center.
it would fit. So we haven't gotten that far out, deviated that
We need
far from it.
to, let's just get town council into it and
Yeah.
Just for
Now,
that simple part of it.
if the Coopers are dead, could I speak, Pete?
Sure.
Yeah, if the Coopers are dead set on agricultural use, let's put a time frame on it, that, like, for 20 years, and then revert to open space. Because we don't know if that, if it turns out that it's not going to be used for agriculture, it's just going to grow up with weeds and trees and junk and...
Danny uses it and has been using it for forever.
I know.
So if we lose Danny and we have to start paying to have it mowed,
Yeah.
and once again, what kills me is you're talking about, it's this beautiful open field. Well, when man stops mowing it, it becomes trees, and then it's really reverted back to what it was supposed to be.
See, that,
So don't make the mistake of Grover Land down there where, we want to put it back the way it always was. It was always trees. Yeah, Cloverdale, whatever. It was always trees. It wasn't always mowable land.
somebody put rocks there.
Son of a gun.
can I speak, Pete?
What, again? Sure. Last time, we're going to get, this is over with right now. We're way past our time.
I just
Go
don't,
ahead.
it is not wise to deed a use to a piece of land with no option to change that.
Like the Conservation Commission does, you mean?
Yeah. So,
So if we do anything in conservation, from now on, we give them a...
We have time for this, because right now,
So if
all
they-
we're voting on whether we want to go with an open space
Right.
plan or a conventional plan.
We like this plan. I like this plan. Make a motion.
Okay, couple items, make sure you don't jump over. Remember that we didn't have Green review any of this.
right.
On Durkee, what you did at the preliminary was Luke recommended a few of the lots to be tested and sketched for septic systems. You haven't done it on this one.
That's a good idea.
So
We've done our testing.
you have not...
Green
We
International.
haven't seen it, Green's gonna need to see
Right,
it.
Green, you have not submitted any of that to Green for their review. You chose to go with that at the definitive.
Right.
So let's not forget that when we get to the definitive.
So all Marmon's saying is that we don't have a number, we have a concept, an idea, and now we need to work on the underlying structure of it,
The nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
the nuts and bolts of it,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right,
Get Green
right.
involved.
So the number of lots, well, sometimes in a preliminary, you can be a little more definite about it. You haven't gone through that exercise. And the other one is the question about the number of units in the over 55. You're asking for, 24? You're basing, and I think maybe it's a semantics issue. You can only have 18 units if 25% of them are affordable. If you go with 24 units, then 10% of them have to be low income, 15% have to be affordable,
So it's a different
according
mix.
to the bylaw.
Yeah,
A much different mix, and
that's our bylaw. But
Right, we'll
is that
get
help?
into that as we get into the definitive.
right.
So you guys are aware of those numbers?
Yes.
And we'll
We'll address.
So once we come to the definitive, we will want Green International involved with the testing. And again, we want to see it before we start approving, 70,000. We want to see that engineering report. Is that
That's already been done. Jonathan, you've done it, right?
by Green?
Yeah.
It's going to be reviewed.
Submit it for them to
We can
review.
review it, I mean, we've done all.
It's already just submitted for peer review. so.
What's your
Let's
time
make sure all of that is hunky-dory.
Going definitive next meeting?
Next
We would
meeting,
like to,
yes.
yes.
Peter, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay.
Thought I said you were all done last time, though.
Almost.
All right.
It's good sand up there, right? Yeah, it's, I mean, it's like really good sand, isn't it?
That's it?
Not hard paint.
Five,
It's not
7
two-
minutes.
Yeah, it's not
I mean,
2 minutes,
it's-
Nate.
It's not 2 minutes. There were 8,
8 and 10.
7,
Those are,
5.
yeah, those are good
But
numbers.
in all instances,
Yeah.
this
All
is
right.
stuff that Green is going to have to be able to witness some of these perk tests, correct? It's not just.
They don't have to witness, they just have to take.
They don't have to
the report.
witness.
They just have to get the
We-
report.
We've done all our testing.
Yeah.
All right, well said?
I
Any other
think-
questions?
I think so. I'll make
Very
a,
good, thank you. Where are we
Well-
next?
no, we don't need to vote on this, right?
Well, yeah, you kind of do.
Well,
Vote or not?
preliminary subdivision, you don't have to.
Well, we can vote to say
Well,
that we support
have to
it.
tell them whether we want them to go the open space or we
All right,
want.
that-
Yeah, I would recommend.
Then I'll make the motion that we approve the open space plan as our preferred plan.
Second.
We have a
All those in
motion?
favor?
Aye.
So be it.
Thank you very much.
Guys and lady,
We will
thank
see
you very
in a
much.
month.
Good presentation.
27, down to 27 at the action behind Quail. Watched a green police officer arresting a guy driving deer out.
It's happened a lot this year.
Huh? Yeah, they
In Chelmsford, on bow season, shot a deer 3 times with a rifle in Chelmsford. There's no rifle hunting in
For
Massachusetts.
January 5th.
Yes, there is.
All
Not
right.
for deer.
Yes, there is.
Western Mass, you need to 308.
The one I may have not seen is the shared residential driveway for the.
Shotgun only in Massachusetts.
All right. All right,
Well, they got muzzle loaders,
Are we
reach out
done?
and touch it from 400 yards now.
Very good, Bob.
yeah, it looks great. When you start breaking ground?
That's you guys are done fooling around.
Well, you got another couple of meetings with Peter, so that's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Get it?
Right.
Hey, by the way, can you change the name of this? Because I'm Eminem, and I also live at 242 King Street. So, I mean, people are
Are you
going to
getting
think
my
this
mail?
is...
Are you getting my bills?
Yeah, I am, and I've been paying them. I'm not paying them anymore.
You're up, Tim?
I'm Eminem, well, those are my initials.
We've done M&M for...
I was way before. I was Eminem Pool Company 30 years ago. I was Eminem something or other.
Yeah, well, be careful, you end up being a fool with M&M.
the
What do we
meeting-
got left on our,
We're done.
anything left on the agenda, Mike?
I'm good, thank you.
It looks good.
Meeting scheduled for first Thursday of the month.
Are we good with the first Thursday? I don't know, that's Hunt Boy. Are we good? Yeah, no, you don't have to go to
First-
killing school
First Thursday of the month.
Thursdays anymore or anything?
Yep, that's what we've been doing.
Ah,
First
boy.
Thursday.
It's awesome, works out well.
I'm teaching on Thursday nights.
That's why we've been getting through these meetings so fast.
Well, I'm here tonight.
Well, Richard, we've always been Thursday, though.
I know.
Okay, so we're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you,
Well, Jim's here, is there something you want to ask the board, or? We just,
nothing good on TV? You can watch us. We're number 1 rated show in Littleton, I think.
Yeah, supposedly.
No, I've been playing nights with Richard, it dropped.
yeah, we also got.
Are you good for Thursdays? I mean,
I am.
if it's an
but-
issue, we need to talk about it.
I am, but, because I'm not, I got 1 more week of teaching, and then I'm teaching the fall, so I'm good for Thursdays till fall.
Okay,
And
all
then,
right.
in the fall, I'll just have to move things around.
Can we make a motion to close the meeting, or do I
I'd
hear
like to
one?
make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Flip the switch.
We don't have a switch, do we?
There it is, it's gone. Woo-hoo!